The long dark took everything from us. It took our crops, our countries, and for many of us, our lives. We managed to survive underground, burrowed underneath the corpse that is this earth. So many years have passed, we have lost track of time. Yet there are still those who live with us that remember what the surface once was and long for its return. Balking against the mandates of the ordered government and the Qui Sustinant, there are those that would dare risk their freedom and even their lives to see one last glimpse of what the surface once was. We are the brave. We are the bold. We are the ones that seek the surface. We seek the land of Viridian, the one that was once promised to us. And then that is going to be Embryn.
Did they take all our equipment and stuff?
Yeah, of course they did.
Okay.
What do you think this is? You think they're gonna let you walk around a police station?
No, I'm just thinking, that's all.
Look, the Qui Sustinants are involved. They might have fucking left us with our gear in the hopes that we tried to fight them so they could just kill us. I wouldn't be surprised.
All right.
Do we have a minute to, like... I mean, I know we're
Mhm.
probably in, like, a holding room, so there might not be much to see, but do we have a second to, like, listen or, like, observe anything that's, like, the goings-ons of this place, in a way? What would I roll to do that?
No, I'll just set the scene. Let's do that. So, Embryn, you're kind of waiting in like a
Sure.
holding room. There's a couple of like tables that are there, just kind of like, it seems like it's just for like visits or whatever. It might also serve a dual purpose for like doling out lunch for lunch breaks and things like that. You see very cramped
Yes.
cells that contain pretty much what you see here, like groups of 4 confined to like a very small room with like 2 sets of bunk beds on either side of the room. So there's really not much in terms of actual storage space. And you see on the opposite side, pretty much more of the same. It looks like 2 of the guys on the northeastern side, just impoverished individuals wearing sackcloth,
Like here?
Happen to have a little bit more space than most people. The rooms are relatively uniform.
There's guards, obviously, right?
Oh yeah, they're all over the place. This is a police barracks, basically.
Yeah, I guess I'm just
Okay.
cross-referencing from what I know about my experiences and the role I used to serve, and like, like I understand. Okay, so they're going on shift; these guys are going off shift. Like, I'm trying to see if I can pick up on little notes like that for future reference, possibly. Don't know.
Well, like
Yeah.
schedules and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
There's not really a clock per se to like determine what the time of day is.
But you can get a feeling of it.
Yeah.
Like-
You see a couple of guards essentially clocking out. They are like going into what you assume to be some kind of locker room.
I had a question. Do the guards patrol in a certain pattern, or are they just like all over the place? Because I know some guards just stay in one place while others patrol the halls.
I mean, it seems like this main artery is like more of a communal room where people are like clocking in, they're clocking out. It seems like this main chamber in the middle serves as like multi-purpose.
Okay.
So it's kind of like just a general, like everyone's kind of going about doing their thing. There's not really like post guards or anything like that.
Okay. That's where they all come and go, but ultimately that's not where their ships are. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay, now I get it.
it's like a police station in like a very small town.
I was going to ask if they ever check the cell doors.
Of course they do.
Okay, because I know sometimes they go down the hall, check a cell, and then go that way. That kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of spot checks on like the prisoners, making sure that they are sufficiently imprisoned. A couple of cat calls from the prisoners as some of the guards walk by, which are generally ignored. Eventually, if you do enough guard work, it seems like you just kind of learn how to tune them out.
Why
Yeah.
do I hope Azim is like actually catcalling one of the guards? Like, why do I hope that? What's wrong with me? Anyway, she needs writing material. It makes sense.
Yeah, for our next book, Lust of the Prison Queen.
God, now that's
That
canon.
sounds great.
Do it. Do it. I buy it. I have
Alright.
20 gold left.
There's a couple of guards that come from behind and kind of gently usher you and like, ma'am, we need you to take a statement. Could you follow us, please? And they kind of guide you towards the interview room.
Yeah, I like nod as an answer and really talking, but yeah, I'll comply.
Okay. And you get pushed into the holding cell, or not the holding cell, the interview room. And there's a half orc, the same half orc that was feverishly scribbling notes from the matriarch guard person, and he stares up from his notes. Embryn Underlock.
Present, sir. I don't believe I caught your name.
My name is Sergeant Rogret. Please take a seat.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Now, Miss Underlock, it's very unusual to see you in this town. Your clan doesn't work in this jurisdiction per se. We do have a ragtag regiment over in Pineville, but they're kind of out of their jurisdiction, and we've been kind of getting them out of this town. This is an Oleander town for that sort of thing. So I apologize if I came off as a little terse. And I'm also questioning your presence in this town.
I get it, but I'll be honest, Sergeant. I think you know more than I do. I didn't realize that my family was being coerced anywhere. She kind of like puts her hands out in fans like a shrug motion, but not really.
He leans back in his chair a little bit. You can tell from his hand position that his fists were clenched a moment ago, and he relaxes a little bit.
I assumed that I was sensing the anxiety in the room, and I'm actively trying to diffuse it a bit.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. It just feels like the right move, so that's what I'm doing.
So, first of all, Miss Underlock, your presence here is a bit curious. As I said before, you're kind of out of your jurisdiction, and I hope that you can assist me in that matter. I need your presence out of this town. You're causing a conflict of interest here. May I ask the reason for your visit? And also, I have to remind you that working out of your jurisdiction at this point can be seen as a form of treason.
Embryn like starts kind of cleaning the fingernails of her right hand with the thumbnail. Sergeant, I just came of age. My family doesn't even know I'm here. I have been on a lather, rinse, repeat kind of lifestyle as long as I can remember. It was starting to get kind of boring, chafing me under the armpits, making me feel like I was imprisoned even though I was, well, how else do I say it? Not in here. I was goddamn bored. So, I guess, when I saw an opportunity to just get out of town and see a bit of the world, or what's left of it, I took it. So, I meant no offense, or trouble. I kind of just, well, hell, I didn't expect the city to light on fire. I was just going to have a few drinks and see if I could lose my virginity. Can I roll deception?
Yeah. Also, he looks visibly flustered after you make that last sentence, like he coughs into his palm.
Good.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Love it. Role played
no.
great.
Oof.
Rolled like shit. The story of my life.
I just missed it. Oh, wow.
He takes off his glasses and breathes on them, rubs them, mostly as putting on airs because he's thoroughly embarrassed. You can tell his grayish green cheeks are flushed with embarrassment.
I mean, I wasn't telling a complete lie. I was bored back there, so...
Miss Underlock, I do have to remind you that technically you are in violation of the law for being outside of your designated town, and that I do have grounds to enact termination as a result of your treason and vagrancy.
Could you define termination, please?
Miss
No, I'm
Underlock,
serious. I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
leaving one's designated town is punishable by death.
Cleaning my ear. Why?
You've heard of the Luminates, right? The surface runners?
Huh?
Come now. We're having a rampant problem with people running to the surface in an attempt to see whatever abomination is up there, thus jeopardizing the totality of what remains of humanoidity. We can't encourage people to engage in wanton acts of vagrancy. We need to establish order, and we need to ensure that that order is fulfilled to the highest sense of the law in order to ensure that people do not jeopardize the well-being of the totality of our existence. As such, leaving your town of residence needs to be dealt with harshly and absolutely.
Embryn puts a hand to her chin and thinks. Sergeant, if it's okay for me to keep addressing you as such.
That is my title.
How does this totality enforcement, as you call it, account for people to trade goods between each other? Food's pretty scarce after all.
There are licenses that allow amnesty for this particular offense.
Oh, is that so? What kind of licensures exist for such occupations?
He lists a series of very boring alphanumerics.
In plain terms, then?
In plain terms, as you define it, there are licenses that are granted for those individuals who are part of trade guilds in order to exchange goods, as you've termed it, varying degrees of licensure based on the jurisdictions and places that they are allowed to go and operate.
I might have to consider a change in career.
Miss Underlock, it doesn't change the fact that you are in violation of the law. Putting this aside for now, could you please describe why you were in Miss Oleander's estate and what transpired there?
I'll do the best I can, sir.
Thank you. Visibly relaxing.
The first thing I recall is a field that's just full of fire. And now, me seeing that my family's estate in the distant is, like, getting close to being in the center of all that, well, I couldn't turn a blind eye to the situation. So, I entreated my friends, can we please go make sure my family's okay? And we took off. The field itself was uncomfortable, being on fire and every so often having the sense of something being there. We never saw what was there, but trust me, something was there. Not a person, mind you, something. It's the Underdark, so I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, that's right. You were the only one who saw that too, right?
I think so.
I think you were.
Yeah, there was definitely something in the field. But that's, I realize, not the focus of your question. But I'm simply explaining why we felt the need to go. So we run up to the Oleander mansion. The doors are busted in, and, I'm in a panic at this point because what if Baba's hurt? What if my cousin's hurt? We let ourselves in. We investigate the entryway. It looks like there's been maybe a scuffle. My associate Carrick might have found some tripped runes. I don't quite remember. Because, again, emotions running high.
Mhm.
Embryn's actually shaking a little bit as she's recounting the details back.
Please take your time. It's okay. There's no rush.
Can I have a glass of water, actually?
He pushes a button underneath his desk. May I have a water, please? And a few moments later, a guard comes in with a tankard of water.
Thanks.
Hands it to you.
Glug. Might as well get the perks while you can, right?
Anyways, if you could continue, Miss Underlock.
Sure. We went upstairs to the foyer to figure out, is there still a fight going on? Was there a fight? What's happening? At first, we thought the foyer was deserted, but as we crossed and went up the stairs to the next floor up, that's when the birds came out. The hook horrors, which you saw disposed of on the floor.
Yes, we are currently taking that under investigation.
I think if I had been a little less emotional, it wouldn't have been such a big deal. You have to deal with things like that, whether you want to or not sometimes in life.
Right.
I don't like seeing my friends get hurt, sir. Never mind family.
I understand.
Anyhow, with the hook horrors dealt with, we continued upstairs. We investigated in the closet, the library,
Mhm.
2 libraries, come to think of it. It's funny, right? I knew that they lived here, but I'd never been to the place. And I know my family's crest, so hands in the air, shrug again.
Mhm.
We made our way into what I guess is the dining hall, event hall. And after seeing a visible shutter. Seeing whatever it is we saw disappear into the ceiling, that's when we came upon Helena. And understandably, Helena didn't know we were coming. She hadn't even seen us yet. She had already alerted you.
Yes. She called us through the sending mechanism that she created.
Yep.
About a potential disturbance at her household, which is why we came to investigate. Now, could you tell me a little bit more about the thing, as you called it, in that room?
You know what R looks like, Sergeant?
R?
Tar.
Tar.
Goopy and black, and light just dies after it hits the surface.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever this was, it was like that. Just a ever-flowing mound of it. And it could create limbs as it needed them and then pull them back in when it was done. And it just decided gravity didn't apply to it, and it oozed upwards into the ceiling, and it was gone.
He scribbles feverishly as you describe what you saw.
Which is why I insisted you probably need someone with arcane knowledge on the scene.
Yes, we ordered an alchemist, and we are having a strike team as we speak investigate the matter. All right. It seems that this is an order. Thank you for your cooperation in this matter, Miss Underlock. We'll have to detain you for the time being while we discuss what to do with your offense. In the meantime, I'll make sure that you're taken care of, and I will send for you once we have a decision. Thank you very much. And he presses the button again. 2 guards come in and escort you out. You are escorted into a room that is holding Carrick Stormwind. It's a upper scale detainment cell.
Oh, I hate this. This is weird.
Yeah, and the door is locked behind you.
There shouldn't be fancy jail. There should just be jail.
Jail and then fancy
I
jail.
think I'm actually saying this.
Carrick's just kind of like, I imagine there's places to sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just seated, probably like, would it be like seated at a table, or would there be like benches on the wall?
Well, they're kind of like suspended benches that are like bolted in.
All right, yeah. Carrick's sitting on one of the benches on the wall, and he just kind of nods in response to Embryn. He's like, yeah, this whole experience has given me a lot to think about.
Drugs. This is just kind of like a weird Twilight Zone other side of the bench experience for her, but it's nothing unexpected yet.
Special thanks to our logo designer Sierra Twazin, to Toys and Things in Danvers, Massachusetts, Reaper Miniatures, and Mongoose Publishing. If you enjoy the show, help the podcast grow. Give us a follow on Twitter at Lords Broken, join the community Discord, and maybe consider offering a small tribute to the old ones on our Ko-Fi. All these links and more can be found in our link tree at linktr.ee/The Broken Lords. Thank you.
Podcast recommendations, you ask? Brian Wayne here, co-curator of The Apocalypse. And I know that sounds gnarly. That's because it is gnarly, man. The Apocalypse. What is The Apocalypse? The Apocalypse is a culmination of the gnarliest podcast, independent podcast the internet has to offer. So instead of trying to go to Twitter the next time you need a new podcast to listen to and try to get Twitter famous, podcast recommendations, please. Just think The Apocalypse, man. And it's ironic because The Apocalypse is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. But just go to podchaser.com. It's in the top lists in the whole world. So whether you're looking for true crime, sports, role-playing, I don't know, anything. Think of a podcast. It's on The Apocalypse. It's like the apocalypse with a D. And do not forget to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter as well. Once again, that is The Apocalypse. If you're looking for a podcast recommendation, The Apocalypse is sure to have something for you.